Nick Digilio is here. He's got a couple of podcasts. One, the Saturday Night Live podcast. Pete Davidson's going to host the opener next week.
He's hosting the opener on the 14th. And then Bad Bunny is both host and musical guest the following week. So already the second guest.
And for this audience,
what the hell are you doing?
Bad Bunny is actually a bunny?
Bad Bunny is a very popular musical artist with the kids.
Okay.
He's also not a bad actor, and actually did a run with WWE as a pro wrestler, and he's not bad.
Yeah, and his first name is Bob. Bob Bad Bunny.
Bob Bad Bunny.
Bob Bad Bunny. I love how you announcing that. Yeah, Bad Bunny is going to be the host.
Yeah.
Now, the question has come up a bunch of people. The actor strike's not over. Right. How can they work?
Oh, yeah.
SAG-AFTRA said the cast not in violation of the agreement because a long time ago there was a majority of members on the cast and a negotiation was struck where there was a no-strike clause on Saturday Night Live.
Leave it to Lauren to do that.
The performers had to be there to perform. Now, I'm not saying none of them, won't stand up and say, I'm not doing it.
Right.
But as of now, everybody's in.
Well, the new lovely, very funny woman that they've hired, they've only hired one new cast member as a featured player, and her name is Chloe Trost, and she's very funny. But she's a lot like Sarah Sherman, who has been promoted to repertory. She and the guy, James Austin Johnson, have been promoted to repertory from featured.
Yeah, you have to do 2 years as a feature before you get kicked up to the regular cast.
Okay.
So I guess they wanted a kind of a Sarah Squirm or Sarah Sherman like person in the featured category. Because she got pushed up, but the girl that they hired is very funny, Chloe Trost. She's new, and it's October 14th. I mean, it's always huge for me. I'm the hugest SNL fan in the world, and I'm very excited that it's coming back.
And the new podcast is?
The new podcast dropped today. I'm sorry, no, the new SNL podcast dropped Wednesday. I have the other one, the Nick D podcast dropped today, but the SNL podcast, that show hasn't been funny in years, dropped on Wednesday, and it is all about one of the best, most subtle, surprisingly brilliant political sketches they've ever done on the show. It happened in October of 2016, and it was Black Jeopardy with Doug. And it was Tom Hanks playing.
I remember that.
Tom Hanks playing a MAGA hat wearing sort of Trump supporter who's on Black Jeopardy, and they find that he has a lot in common with the black people that are on the show.
Right.
It is a brilliant sketch that is
that's
really
how we
subtle.
Learn.
And it's Michael Che co-wrote the sketch, and it was a sketch that at a time, but at a time right leading up to the election in 2016 where everybody was divided, like the country was completely deeply divided, and this was this brilliant sketch that came out of nowhere that like united people. It was like, wait, we have more in common than we think we do. And it's brilliant. It's really funny and subtle, and then it got. Here's the other thing that I talk about on the podcast is that it got overshadowed because that was the same episode as David Pumpkins when they did David S. Pumpkins.
Oh, that's right.
That was the same episode.
Hanks in the elevator.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was also the night that the Cubs won the pennant against the Dodgers. So I didn't watch it till about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, okay.
And I was completely distracted by the Cubs and everything and the victory. And then they go into the World Series and I didn't care about SNL. And then I watched it at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh, this David S. Pumpkin thing is funny. But the Black Jeopardy thing, I was like, wait a minute, this is like really subtle and brilliant and not the easy sort of like heavy-handed kind of political comedy that you would expect, but really brilliant work about bridging, having a bridge between, people that you wouldn't expect to have anything in common with MAGA supporters.
Sure.
With Trump supporters. It's brilliant, and it's some of the best work that Tom Hanks has ever done. It's one of my favorite sketches of all time. I think one of the best political sketches they've ever done. So the entire episode, the new one, is all about Black Jeopardy with Doug.
All right, we'll tell you what the new podcast in the Nick Digilio world is. Got a show coming up at Zanies as well.
Oh, yeah, with Andrea.
Yeah.
And so we'll hit that for you. But we'll also talk about some stuff you ought to be considering entertainment-wise or considering blowing off.
Yeah.
Stand by for that. Next SNL podcast is up every Wednesday. What's your new show about, your new podcast?
The Nick D podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, the Nick D podcast was just dropped. It's weird. Every time I come here, there's a new podcast.
It's like COVID. It'll pop up at any time.
What are the odds?
Every Friday, and Tuesday and Friday, the Nick D podcast comes up, and it is an entertainment, pop culture interview podcast where I do movie reviews and all that stuff and have great guests. My guest on today's podcast is the lovely Amy Guth.
Oh, good.
Oh, yay.
who we used to
Love
work with
Amy.
over at the car wash.
She's the best.
Right.
And she's a semi-regular on my podcast, and she's in L.A. doing movies now. And
Is she really?
Yeah.
Good for her. I'm telling you, such a talented woman.
She is. She's incredible. And she's got some great stories about living in L.A., about how casual dress is not casual in L.A. Even if you decide that you're going to go to a Walmart, you better dress up.
Really?
Even casually, you got to look. She talks about that. And also, like, she made a movie about an Elvis impersonator hanging out at a laundromat. And she just has brought it. She's bringing it to all the festivals.
Oh, that's great.
And it's like Sundance and all these other festivals. And she's working on. She told stories about getting that movie made. And it's like so. Amy Guth is my guest, and then Esmeralda Leon, who is my co-host, who will be my co-host the night that Andrea will be live with us.
Yes.
But yeah. So
what night is that Zanies show?
Tuesday, October 24th. Get your tickets now.
I can't wait.
We got some weird Halloween candy that we're going to be giving away. We'll do some trivia to give away some great stuff. I got Gale Street Inn dinners, and I got Apt Electronics gift cards to give away.
Excellent.
Now, Andrea is my special guest, and Andrea and Esmeralda and I will be on the stage
I
together.
can't wait.
Andrea
It's like a reunion because obviously we all worked together for many years, and this is going to be a lot of
everybody
fun.
that wants to meet Andrea and hang out with Andrea because she's the nicest.
John's
She's
going.
nicest.
I'm going. I'm going to be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
So
you
it's-
better
it's-
come, Steve. It's going to be fun.
Tuesday,
I'll be in
October-
Italy. Otherwise, I'd come back.
Oh, you're in Italy.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right.
Tuesday,
whatever.
Tuesday, October 24th at Zanies. You can check it out, rosemont.zanies.com.
I can't wait.
It's going to be
William-
great. I'm so thrilled that you're doing it.
Oh,
really.
I am
It's going to
too.
be great. Live, we'll meet everybody and hang out. It'll be
William and Justice on the phone, and William said he met Butkus when he was a kid. Said he had the biggest hands in the world.
I bet.
And I can back that up because one of the times he interviewed me, he palmed my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily.
No.
Easily.
And then he dunked me.
I was just saying, picked you
No,
up.
true story. True story. Anything we should do this weekend?
You mean movie-wise?
Yes.
No.
Nothing good.
Actually, yes. It's really odd. There's this Pedro Almodovar, who is this great, incredible Spanish filmmaker who's made incredible movies over the past 35 years, 40 years almost. Has a new short film that's out with Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal, and it's called Strange Way of Life. Oh, wow. And it is a Western, but it's only 31 minutes long. And it's playing in
Where would
movie
you see it?
theaters.
The show is a short?
Yeah, it's a short. I mean, it's only 31 minutes long. But they've released it, and they're showing it with a short that Almodovar made during COVID with Tilda Swinton. And so together, it's like an hour and 20. But this Strange Way of Life, this new Almodovar movie, by far, it's the best thing that's come out this week. It's only half an hour long, but that's the one to see. The big one this week, because it's for Halloween, is the Exorcist Believer, which is the sequel
To The Exorcist?
The Exorcist.
That's a laugh riot,
That
right?
movie, that was the scariest movie I've ever seen in my life.
It's 50th anniversary this year. My dad took me to see it in the theater 50 years ago when I was
Same
8.
Satan
I was
or new
8.
Satan?
No, it's not Satan. It's Pazuzu. But that's a whole nother.
Did you just sneeze?
What you talk about, Willis?
Yeah, I've got. Yeah. So, but no, this the new Exorcist. The guy who co-wrote and directed it is the guy responsible for the 3 Halloween reboots that just
Did you
came
see
out.
it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
And?
it's really bad. It's the first hour is pretty cool. It's a build-up, a great build-up, but then when the wheels fall off on this thing, the wheels fall off hard. And I hate to say this, but the movie falls apart when Ellen Burstyn shows up. And it has nothing to do with the great, the brilliant, the consistently amazing
Yeah.
Ellen Burstyn.
Yeah.
But it's the way that they've completely screwed up her character. Like, if you're a fan of the movie and you know her character, Chris McNeil, the way that she acts in this movie, what they have her do, the way she behaves, what she says would never have come out of that character's mouth. And it just keeps getting more ridiculous.
The
and more
reason I
ridiculous.
brought up Satan is because I heard Gary Cole, who plays everybody's playing Satan because he has that kind of range, and they've made him friendly now. Not true.
They made who friendly?
Gary Cole is Satan and is friendly in the movie. Not true.
Gary Cole. I'm sorry. Am I
I
lost?
know. I went back into a time
What the
warp.
hell? What is
Have
Gary
we
Cole?
met?
Gary Cole.
Is there a chance maybe I made that up?
Yeah, I know, but I
How
thought
long have I
thought
known
there
you?
was.
Where
I
you're
know.
going? Suddenly you're turning into every bad person that's ever been on the show where they go, you mean literally Gary
No,
Cole?
but I was trying
Catch
to
on,
think.
funny boy.
I was trying
Ride
to think,
the wave.
I was trying to think of what Gary Cole's connection was to Satan, and I was like, okay, the boss in Office Space is
Well,
that?
You know what? Let's break it down. So why did the chicken cross the road?
All right.
Was he curious about what was on
No,
the other
in Nick's
side, or
defense,
did he
I-
leave something behind?
In Nick's defense, I sort of
Thank you,
thought
Paula.
maybe Gary Cole made an appearance in the movie too.
But
I'll be
it's-
over here.
no.
I'll be over here if any of you need me.
It gets, but the second half of the movie, and they figure instead of one possessed little girl, let's do two. So you get double the possession, and they do like spitting the vomit. They do the vomit. A head gets spun around in this movie. It's really,
Fun for the
really
kids.
awful. It's awful. But the first hour is not bad. That makes it even more disappointing. It's a terrible movie. And there was no need to make a sequel to The Exorcist. But I will say this: the other sequels aren't bad. Like the third one is great, the one with George C. Scott.
Oh, I love that one.
That's
yeah.
a scary movie.
So you're saying we should just watch the first hour of this and then the short with Pablo
Almodovar,
Vasquez.
yeah.
Right, and then
That's
go
the
see
best
the
way to
Eras,
use
and then
your
go see the
time.
Eras tour.
Pinot Gris Noir.
Yeah, or just go see Barbie again. That's
There you go. Love
it's in
Barbie.
IMAX, by the way. If you can catch it.
For grandparents and parents, the Paw Patrol movie's good.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh.
10 out of 10.
There is a really
And you
good.
can take little kids. Little kids, a 4-year-old's not going to get scared at it.
No,
I
don't
know
take
because
them to The
Isaac
Exorcist.
wasn't scared. I was a little scared. Isaac told me to man up. But yeah, you could take him to that.
Was Gary Cole there?
Gary Cole played one of the characters.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Trying to confuse everybody.
He's probably listening. Gary Cole's a fan of
You know,
them.
I'm the one who gets up early. What happened to you there?
What do you see? I had to get up early today.
Yeah, okay.
I just didn't understand what the reference was. I'm
No.
sorry. Did you understand?
Generally
John, did you
speaking-
understand
No.
the
I
reference?
did. No,
See,
I know.
those are
I
the
know where he
rails,
was
and
going.
this is
I
the
just
show.
know what he does. That's
Listen,
why.
generally
But yes.
speaking, since you've known me for 25 years, generally speaking, what happens in comedy
What?
is if somebody says something ridiculous, you don't go, now what do you mean by that? Let's
I
break
see.
that down in three
Wait till
different ways.
Wait till you see what I analyze at Zanies. That'll
Yeah,
be
when you're in
incredible
Italy.
show on October 24th.
That's right. When you're in Italy
Nice
and
way to
we're
work
all
the plug in,
there.
but-
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, Zanies.com, rosemont.zanies.com.
Be
Gary
there.
Cole's coming in at 8:05.
Be in Italy with you.
Nick D Podcast, where do you get him?
Yeah, you can get it at radiomisfits.com or every single place where you can get your podcasts everywhere. The Nick D Podcast and That Show Hasn't Been Funny in Years, an SNL podcast. Radiomisfits.com.